Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. We're going to be taking a look at HBQ versus Sacsri. I think this should be a fun matchup for our ladder series. It's not the absolute pinnacle of Starcraft, that's for sure. Sacsri is a great player, but I wouldn't put him on the same level of Sulky or Hero or many of these other players. Maybe even Jaedong, who's been showing some great gameplay recently. I think he's up in those upper echelons once again, which is awesome to see. But HBQ kind of along the same lines, so maybe we're gonna see a great little series in this video. We've got the 12 hatch coming out for Sacsri, and HBQ gonna be setting up the wall. HBQ gave some pretty good performances in some recent videos, but he's not quite the name draw just yet. Maybe if he makes it into SSL this season, maybe that'll get people interested in him a little bit more. He's one of those guys who's just right at the edge. Like, he could probably do it if he got a little bit lucky. If he managed to catch fire in a bottle, if he managed to catch lightning in a bottle. You have to have that perfect mixture of tactics, practice, focus practice, and of course a little bit of luck as well. Depends on who you end up getting matched up against and how they perform and what kind of tactics they use as well. And so HBQ here already getting in, just seeing what's going on. He's going to see the timing on that pool. He's pushing out with the one Marine, as you do in this day and age. This is just how Terran players operate. Going to just force this drone away from the natural. That's the goal. That's the plan. Get the drone away from the natural. Going to come back in now. And then run back away as soon as the links pop out. We've got the layer on the way. And is he going to take Ling Speed right off the bat? There it is. Ling Speed is coming up here as well. On Radion, it could be a possibility, especially with these map positions, that you might want to go for some sort of Mutalisk all-in. You're just so close to your opponent's natural. You can rally from your natural insanely quick. And so if there's any hiccup in your opponent's building of turrets, or they get out of position for a moment, they make any mistakes, you can just keep rallying forward mutas and eventually overtake them. Doesn't seem like that's what our Zerg player wants to go for today. Sacsri throws down his Spire. Extractor coming up immediately after, as is customary, as is expected. And the drone heading out on the map. He is going to take a third base, potentially, not that base right there, potentially the natural, maybe the main. We've seen some Zerg players move towards taking the main a little bit more recently, but I think that still the natural is very strong. He's going to try and hide the drone, but as soon as that's spotted, now the jig is up. This is very good scouting information for HBQ. He's gonna know exactly where that drone is going, and so won't need to waste any scans. He did go for double scanner, which he might have been able to get away with just one scanner here. Goes one scanner, he scans the main, he sees the tech, and that would actually make him completely fine. That would totally reveal the strategy, and he could continue SCV production during that. But he scans the natural. He's gonna head out to try and bust this front. Some Lings coming up from behind. There's only 4 though. Just 4. Mutas are on the way. Mutas are in production. Sunken Colony just finishing up now. This can easily become a bust if Sacsri is not careful. He hits the stim button. He sends the medics in first to tank some of that damage. He will lose 1 Marine right off the bat. Diving in on top of this Sunken Colony is going to go down immediately. All the drones will have to be pulled. 1 drone ends up going down as it's retreating. A second one will die on the extractor. The mutas are finally out. They didn't take too much damage there. He's got the 5. This one's going to go down for sure, though. Unfortunate there. He ends up losing that drone. One firebat heads in towards that main. He will clean that up. A pretty okay hold for Sacsri, but you never want to have to pull your drones out of the natural. It's such a hiccup to the overall economy. He lost a couple of drones. He had to build that extra building. He canceled that afterwards and the drone died. He also lost a Mutalisk that was popping out. So none of these are very good things. These are all some things that could have been avoided had he just simply built a second sunken colony. On the flip side, however, the entirety of the Marine force has been taken out. He's mining with too many drones here? No, he's actually corrected that. 6 drones in the natural. He's got a reasonable economy going. Not been hiccuped too badly. And like I said, the Bioforce was killed. We're just sitting on 2 racks. Third racks is floating right now. So 3 racks bio. And I don't see a factory just yet. Going after this turret, he's gonna get that. But he loses 2 Mutalisks, and now he's down to just 6. Trying to deal damage in the mineral line with just 5 and now 4 mutas. Having to take multiple swipes to kill singular SCVs, so he really doesn't get much done in that main base. Sacsri felt like he needed to go a little bit ham there. Trying to kill turrets, trying to open up a spot, but I think that was too much. HBQ has really seized the initiative and is ahead on the curve of this game. just now starting. Where's that factory? We're past the 7-minute mark, nearly at the 8-minute mark, and I haven't seen it just yet. There's that factory. Okay, it's right next to the comsat. So factory is on the way. That factory is pretty well on time, especially with the lateness of this transition from Zerg. SCV going to be sent out, but immediately gets picked off. Is ready to come back in here with the full 11 stack of mutas, transferring some drones, getting his economy smoothed out. Sacsri is preparing for this transition. But what HBQ brings together now is going to be quite scary. He's going to have a lot of bioforces, and he's going to have that tech coming online here pretty soon. His economy is looking quite good with 42 workers. Continuing to build that up, so we'll probably see him take a third base relatively soon. At least once he forces everything back from the Zerg. With some splash damage, then he'll be able to easily come out and take that. Sunken Colony going up at the front as a lurker upgrade nears completion. Continuing to just harass this little bit by little bit. There's a medic. Medic standing just a little bit out of range of the Marines. A little too far to the side. Does end up being a victim. Another 2 medics go down. Wow, this is some great sniping for Sacsri, getting a lot of value by just camping here over the natural. Can he get another medic? Well, these Marines are being quite cautious. 11 Marines heads out towards top right. Did Sacsri pick up on that? He should notice that there's a lot of Marines missing from this group. He's only got the 1 sunken colony there, though, over at top right, and a few Hydralisks. They're gonna help out, and he might be able to hold it. This is only Marines, guys. Let's take a look at the upgrades. Only +1 is done. Some lurkers are being made, but here comes that big group of Marines trying to break through this. Wow, they're gonna kill that sunken colony incredibly fast, so I take that back. I really haven't seen too many situations where the Terror player moves out with 11 naked Marines and just kills the third base. That is a pretty rare circumstance, but there you have it. He just annihilates every drone over at this base, drops them down to 24, completely resets the drone count at the third. But now lurkers are out on the field, and quite a few Marines have died. He could easily overwhelm this bio group and bring lurkers to the front, which could spell disaster. He starts a Greater Spire. Interesting choice here from Sacsri. He's gonna get super teched out really, really fast and try to end this game. We'll see how that goes for him, though. Bioforces are out here, and they're actually going to come up and try to take the fight with this lurker spread. The lurkers are spread pretty thin. They get some good kills on the Marines. But can he follow up? Gonna run forward here with the lurkers. Great snipe there. It's very hard to dive on top of Marines with just pure lurker. But in the end, the Marine count is low enough so the mutas can do the cleanup job that they need to. Lurkers here at the natural, unfortunately, though, not backed up by the mutas. And now there are science vessels out as well. Double irradiate goes down. That's going to deal so much damage. Oh my gosh. Catastrophic damage there as the mutas. My god, every muta's going to die. Holy crap. Just about every muta in that entire stack went down. How many kills on that science vessel? 3 on this one, 2 on that one. So 5 kills total from those 2 irradiates. That is absolutely brutal. Now Nidus Canal getting hooked up. He hasn't started his +2 carapace yet, but there it is. Now it's on the way. No, it's +1. Oh my goodness, it's +1 carapace. My bad, guys. +1 only on the way now. And so he's already got his Defiler out, and he just started +1. There's not a lot of hope for a late game right now for Sacsri. He actually needs to get something done in a big way. I think he just sniped down a vessel off screen. I kind of missed that, but the Defiler's making its way over. Can he actually get to the front? No, the Defiler's gonna get caught. The Defiler gets caught. Lurkers are gonna run forward, though. He picks off that science vessel here over the natural, and now he's gonna get right in with these lurkers. Lurkers are gonna get on top of these SCVs. He's gonna have to pull everything to the ramp. Are they all gonna end up dying? Targeting onto the Firebat rather than onto those SCVs. And so one lurker makes its way down here. There's no lurkers to hop through that Nidus Canal, but he tries to run forward there and ends up losing quite a few Marines and not breaking the front. Whoa. I just saw a vulture there in the main. I guess it was this factory spitting out vultures and harassing. This is kind of a wild move from HBQ to just get some value out of this factory and cause some chaos on the Zerg side of the map. I gotta say, it's working quite well. Definitely is slowing him down. It's forcing him to look elsewhere. Stacking up the lurkers here. Wants to make this last for as long as possible. Just gonna come running down, though. The targeting's not that good on the lurkers, and so he will break through. Cannot break this part, though. Third base a little bit too well defended. I heard another vulture go down, so potentially a little bit more damage. Only 26 workers overall. Here's that Defiler making its way towards that front. Gonna push right in now with the Defiler. Dropping the Dark Swarm in the natural. He's definitely not gonna be able to hold on to the mining in this natural, and so HBQ finding himself in a really rough position. Here comes the Scourge as well. Scourge clearing out a bunch of these all-important vessels. Looks like one lurker was outside of range of that Dark Swarm, and so it was able to be picked off. However, these ones here, certainly under the Dark Swarm, going to be putting on a lot of pressure on the natural, and Sacsri is going to be able to get away with taking a 4th base now. He might not be able to kill with this move, because it's going to be hard to get more Defilers across the map to keep this going. But he just killed another important science vessel. That's a very smart pick off there. 2 more dropships on the way. HBQ gonna place his fate on some lotto ships. See if he can get in there and deal some damage while Sacsri is setting up for the late game. He sees this for sure. He sees the drops coming in. Can he actually get that? Oh my gosh. Making a bit of a mistake there. Burning those Scourge, and he will not get the dropship. Unfortunately, those dropships are still going to be a problem potentially out on the map. So We'll see where he ends up sending those. Sending them right over top of an Overlord. Oh, he gets that dropship. And he picked up as well. Great snipe there with the extra pair of Scourge. That's awesome. That is awesome for Sacsri. But HBQ is hurting. He does have his third base online now. He's still got 41 SCVs for a pretty solid 2-base economy because this base is about to mine out. And Sacsri was kind of late on taking the fourth. In fact, he canceled it. Didn't end up taking that fourth just yet. He's playing a very lean game right now, and he's working on those upgrades. Dropships are thinking about coming in, but Scourge are present, ready for that drop. D-Matrix on the dropship is very smart. That takes 4 Scourge now to kill a dropship. He's going to send in the D-Matrix dropship first. See if he can bait those Scourge into an engage. However, I mean, this is pretty well locked up. And might even lose this dropship here. Yeah, he does. Lings are going to clear out just about everything. I think these 3 Marines are basically dead in the water. Not much he can do with that. Gonna lose these 2 Scourge, unfortunately, but let's see if this secondary load up will end up going right for HBQ. He's already wasted quite a bit of Marine Medic trying to make this work. Take a look at the upgrades. +2, +2. +2 armor is just about done. So he's going to be catching up on upgrades, and I don't see a +3 on the way. That is a little bit scary right now for HBQ. Not having that upgrade is really going to hurt him in the long run. Great Plague there. Just getting what he can out of that single Defiler. Now, one thing I've wondered about a little bit as a Zerg player is what if you take a bunch of Lings and burrow them all together with a single Defiler? You can easily just unburrow and then click the Defiler and you know, pull it out of the group and use it. But it's so hard if you just got a whole bunch of potholes, a whole bunch of like Ling potholes. Like, how are you going to figure out which one is the Defiler? Scourge coming in here. He's gonna wipe out this force. There's a Firebat in there with 5 kills, actually. That's doing very, very well. Only 1 Ling remains there, but more are gonna pop out suddenly and take out this dropship force. Really not working out well for HBQ. This drop play has been completely shut down. I think that's the main reason why Sacsri was taking this base so slowly, is because he knew that he was gonna be under that pressure and he wasn't gonna be able to protect that adequately. And so I really respect Sacsri's kind of patience there in just waiting until he was ready, until he had the tools available to keep that base alive. Putting some Lings on top of this Lurker stack as well. A bunch of Lings are out on the map, but that's a pretty good group of bio. Even with +2 armor, it's going to be hard to break through. 12 Overlords on the way. My God, what a supply block. Holy. I don't think it was like a whole bunch of Overlords just died. I really feel that that's just a pretty big mistake for our Zerg player. Defiler makes his way over here. Wow, that Defiler plague was insane. He might just clutch right through this. Might break right through. Still 4 Lurkers at this natural, and with Dark Swarm, you're not going to be able to break that. And so, well, we see another plague here. This Defiler is being forgotten about. That is unfortunate. That is a shame. I should change the colors here. Ooh, there we go. Blue. That's much better. Now we can see the plagues when they go down on these Marines a little bit better. What if you... These Defiler of these science vessels are very healthy. Another round of dropships. Has he not learned his lesson? Will he actually be able to get in here and do anything with them this time? Sacsri is pumping out a lot of units right now. 6 Ultras are on the way. With 6 Ultras coming up, he should be able to hold on against any sort of drop play. We'll see what HBQ can do. Sending these in now. He's just about to finish 3-3. We have 3-3 on the way for Zerg, though, too. Not very far behind the 3-3 of this Terran player. That's pure Marine. Wait, where are the medics? There's the Ultras popping out. He's just going to bail. Run away. Eraser trick coming down. No burrow? Okay, there is burrow. Yes, that's very good. I think there is room for more use of burrow in the future, I think. That's going to be a thing. Mark my words, guys. Eventually, we're going to see players utilizing burrow in new ways. This has been a thing forever. Burrowing lings underneath expansions. Burrowing drones to hide from Eraser trick, of course, but what about burrowing a bunch of lings with a Defiler so that it's harder for the Terran player to irradiate your Defilers? It takes way more attention and time. Here's a drop into the main base. At the same time, though, oh, he loses that armor upgrade. That's very important. Armor just got denied, and the attack upgrade as well. The Spire is down, too. Oh, my God. This is doing so much damage. The Ultralisks. The Cavern is over here. And the Ultras are actually pushing in, so they should be able to deny mining at least at the 4th base. The Natural is getting quite low. In fact, it's pretty much mined out. And as this gets cleaned up, the overall tech has been completely reset. Or very near to it. At least he's still got the hive. Otherwise, that would really be the case, but he's going to be rebuilding a lot of this stuff. He has to get the Spire. He has to get the Defilers Mount. He has to get a double Evo Chamber. Once again, I actually don't see Defilers Mount or Evo Chamber. Looks like he might just want to try massing only Ultra and just win this game. Just try to go across the map with what he has and just get in there and kill. Unfortunately, gonna have a plague on one of those Ultralists, and a lot of these Irradiates did get off. Kind of shutting down a lot of this Ultralist play. +3 is done, and it's gonna be a long time before he can get that next upgrade. In fact, he's not even making the Evo Chambers, so we may never see +3 armor, +3 carapace. Missile numbers getting a little higher. The Ultras still don't have speed either. There's another Evo Chamber. Okay, we've got the double Evo. When are these upgrades going to start, though? HBQ has less supply than Sacsri, so it's looking a bit dire. With the 3-3, though, is there a possibility? And no Defiler Mound. Don't forget that. There's no possibility of making Defilers. Scourge only just recently were able to be produced again. Is it going to be possible to break through here? The 3rd base is under threat. Lurkers are going to come out along with these Ultras. Backing up just out of range of the Lurkers is a good plan, so that he can try to gun down these Ultras as they push forward. But as soon as he retreats back to the Lurkers, it's no longer a reasonable engagement. And so HBQ just going to wait for some more Irradiates to try to toss them down on these Ultras, soften that up a bit more before going in once again. Meanwhile, counterattack heading out on the map. I'm going to go ahead and try to hit one of these bases. There's not a lot of Marines in these bunkers, so if they're not surrounded by SCVs, they're not going to last for very long, and in fact, they do not last very long at all. A lot of the Lurkers have been irradiated. They're almost all dead. Uh-oh. This might be the break moment for HBQ. Can he actually break through, bust this base? Might be time for some D-Matrix if he's got the energy for it. He does not. So there will be no D-Matrix. 16 sets of Lings are about to pop out, and 1 Ultra. 2 Defilers are on the way. So actually, if he gets a Defiler out, he can definitely hold this natural. He may even be able to get a plague on this stuff and start to push that back. Meanwhile, more Lings heading out, doing some counterattacking. Could definitely break this base over here. There's hardly any resources allocated to that area. Another The Plague goes down, and the Dark Swarm as well. A lot of Science Vessels heading up towards top right, man. That is so many Irradiates that are about to be cast over in top right. Can definitely hit all the Ultras and these Defilers as well. Bunker holds at that 4th base. HBQ running a little bit on empty now. 36 workers, 17 kill Ultra at this base, by the way. Trying to push forward into this area. He's managed to clear all the Ultras, and he's now going to take down this spot. This Ultra now at 22 kills, an absolute beast of an Ultra. Keeping Sacsri in this game and preventing HBQ from mining at this location. His supply is falling behind a little bit, but he's got these nice counterattacks going, and the army is busy dealing with a fresh base. In fact, there's another fresh base for Sacsri over at the center right. He just needs to make these into Sunkens and get a Defiler over to that location to get some Dark Swarm on the stack. It's like the Ultra with about 20 kills ended up going down after all. This Ultra's got to have a lot of kills also. No, only 2. Manages to clear out the mining at that area and gets this base mining once again. But with so few workers, can he really keep up this supply? Ultra irradiated, killing off his brethren. The Lings are going down. Relying on this 5th gas so much. As long as he keeps that alive, though, I'm really favoring Sacsri in this game state. All because of that 5th gas. We're already at the 27-minute mark. His 3rd gas is going to start to run low. Actually, his 3rd gas is already depleted, so he's really only got 2 fully mining gas geysers at the moment. Actually needs to start putting more bases online here shortly. Big Bioforce moving over towards top right. He's going to start to irradiate a lot of this stuff. Meanwhile, going for another eraser trick. I think he knows that there is Burrow. As long as Sacsri reacts, should be possible to just deny that. Yeah, there we go. He will just Burrow. Dark Swarm on the bunker, so he can at least get rid of the bunker. But the Marines should be able to clear that. Drones are going to get back to mining now. Burrowing in the natural as well. This is just very good play from Sacsri. Hanging on to the majority of his drones. Don't like to see him send out this many Lings, though, just to die. Don't want to be wasting those. Some Scourge over here to help deal with that annoying attack that's been going on. Still, that vessel just kind of floating over the natural. I'll go ahead and hit the D-Matrix. These 3-3 Marines can easily deal with a very high number of sunken colonies. There's still 2 lurkers under here, but another one gets irradiated. Counterattack going on at the center left. I think that Sacsri might be okay with letting this base go as long as he shuts down all the mining of HBQ in return, in retaliation. This is his compensation. But he's not shutting down this base. Uh-oh. Sacsri actually needs to shut this down. He's losing so much at this location. And he doesn't have another replacement base to take over. Of vessels heading down this way. Gonna irradiate pretty much every Ultra. And the Ultras are a little bit busy, kind of dancing around each other rather than getting into this mineral line and getting anything done. Army is going to be wiped out here. Oh my god, it's a massacre. So many medics here just getting torn apart by these Lings. And GG is called. Oh, the humanity. Oh, so many dead bodies littering the field as the Terran player taps out. HBQ, he fought a hard game for sure. Sacsri is no pushover in the late game, but HBQ never gave up with the drops. He finally got a drop in that did some damage in that main base and reset the tech, but he just wasn't quite able to take advantage of it. He had that 3-3 advantage. He had that, 3-3 to 2-2 advantage for quite a long time, but Sacsri was able to hold on. Critically, at that moment when all of those Marines were here, and he popped out a bunch of lurkers, and just a few ultras were able to hold on against all those Marines, HBQ just wasn't able to break the position. I think the trade was great from Sacsri as well, seeing all of those medics and Marines coming to kill his fresh 5th base. Rather than trying to save that, he knows it's a critical base, very important base to save, as this gas geyser is really the only fresh one that he had, aside from this one. But choosing to take out the Terran infrastructure, take out the Terran mining and their macro, instead of defending his base, I think it was a great choice. Good heads-up decision-making from Sacsri. See what happens in game number 2. Well, I wasn't disappointed. It really seems like these two are on a similar level. We're getting some great games. That last one, I have to say, it's very impressive what Sacsri did to end that one. It's so hard mentally, I feel, to be on the defensive so long. You know, defend, and then suddenly make that switch. You're like, okay, I'm just gonna sack this one base because my opponent has committed so much to that. He's not gonna have much on defense. Rather than try to save, I'm gonna put a huge amount of damage onto his side of the map. That's a very difficult, like, mentally switch to make. And we're gonna have a switch up now from HBQ as well. So he went for the 8 racks. Wants to get out here and do some pressure as soon as possible. No gas on the way for Sacsri. He spotted this with his overlord. He knows that he has to harass the SCV. He can't allow a bunker to be made for free. My god, that's so much damage. What? He's gonna kill this. He's gonna get it. He's gonna get it. Oh my god, HBQ is gonna get this drone. Okay, no, he is not gonna get that drone, I don't think. Sacsri has played the ring around the rosy game just well enough. Will be able to keep that alive. More drones are gonna be pulled coming down here. That's a lot of SCVs though. Oh my goodness, that is a ton of SCVs. And the drones are just barely kind of getting around this, but 4 kills have already gone down. 5 now. 5 drone kills, 6 drone kills, 7 drone kills. Oh my gosh. Well, is that it? 8 drone kills? That might be it. That's a lot of SCVs that have been pulled though. They are still alive though. There's 12 back at home, where there's only 6 drones mining. If Sacsri managed to make a comeback from this, that would be even more impressive than that late game decision making. It'll be very hard to break this, but he kind of needs to. He has to break this. He can't take any more L's in this game. He doesn't have gas, so he's never gonna get Ling speed in time to like do a run by or something. He's just gonna have to take this fight as best he can, target down as many SCVs as he can. Great surround on the bunker. Oh god, the SCVs didn't repair at all, and they will just return back home, running on back, their tails between their legs. Back at home, a bunker is complete. Lings are gonna run this way, but he should be able to lift and drop the barracks in that wall if he so chooses. 4 Marines in the bunker. Bunch of SCVs have been pulled. This is very smart play from HBQ. Gonna target down some of those SCVs. There's a lot of Lings, not to be taken lightly. Oh my gosh, getting down here with the SCV train just in the nick of time. Very good stuff from HBQ, realizing his position and playing it pretty much perfect. But as the dust settles, where are we at in this game? A lot of drones are popping out. The layer is going to be insanely delayed, but this command center is quite late as well. There's a lot of SCVs that were pulled multiple times. Quite a few were killed. He's down to just 21. The layer is coming up in the natural. The reason why he's putting it in the natural is because the layer has more health than the hatcheries. So when the layer finishes, we'll see more HP be added to this total. And so he is going to be able to tech from here. It's just all the timings are going to be completely messed up. Are we actually going to get a long game out of this? Now you see 8 drones go down in the early game, and he made like, what, 20 lings? Maybe even more than that. And we're still going to be able to recover, potentially? That's wild to me. I think I would have tapped out, honestly, but Sacsri, he's hanging in there. He didn't miss an overlord. He's getting his drones out. He's gonna have that layer done soon. He's gonna make, he looks like he's gonna be supply block, but he's gonna make a spire, and then he's gonna make the gas. So that's -2 drones. So he's opened up some supply. He can make a couple more drones, and then he can make an overlord. And that will kind of even out over time here. So he'll probably stop. Okay, 3 more drones, and then he's probably going to halt drone production, make 2 overlords, and then just mass up mutas. Will he go for a 3rd base right off the bat? Or is he going to rely on some mutalist pressure now? 3 overlords, in fact, are going to be made. That might hurt his timing just a little bit. You can see the spire is more than halfway complete. We've only got 1 larva at each base. Building some sunken colonies here at the front. The move out is coming. Follow up from HBQ. Pretty standard stuff after a successful 8 racks. You just want to get out and put some pressure on. 2 racks into Academy Rush is absolutely the right call. Forces out the 3 sunkens. It hurts an already damaged economy of the Zerg. And hurts this mutalist timing as well. I don't know how he managed to get that 3rd hatchery out, but it's going to prevent him from taking a 3rd base for a little while. He's going to sit here and just crank out units. And then eventually switch back into droning as he takes that 3rd base potentially. Let's see how these mutalists do. Because I imagine that HBQ with those scans saw everything. He's already got his factory nearly complete. His factory is so on curve, actually. That's crazy. He almost got the 7-minute factory, even with all the craziness that happened in this early game. 1 firebat meandering out onto the map. Would like to catch a drone, but won't have that honor. Instead, dies by the glaive. And the mutas are going to start to do this harassment. What potential damage, if any, can Sacsri get on this Terran player who seems to be buttoned up pretty tight? Armory, starport on the way. Are we getting a Hydra Den yet? Hydra Den is on the way, so that's very important. The fact that he started this Hydra Den already means that by the time the armory is done and Valkyries are out, he will likely have lurker upgrade finished. Could have lurkers on the way. He's actually a little bit slow on getting that lurker upgrade going. But there it is now. Oh, range was a bit late. Look at that. Range quite late here for HBQ. So that actually, that might give some opportunities maybe for the Zerg to come in and harass the Marines a little bit. Maybe he can get a few kills. That definitely should have been finished earlier. Seems like HBQ just slipped his mind a little bit. Or for a little while. Feels like a fantasy push follow-up. Valkyries and tanks are going to be added on to start to put some real pressure to the Zerg player. Sacsri has his Queen's Nest on the way, but his Hive is quite some time from completion. Maybe there'll be a timing for these tanks to get in and break open the natural before we end up seeing Defilers online. Still no Ling speed, funnily enough. Lings do not have their speed just yet. Some lurkers are going to be made, but HBQ sending that SCV out actually manages to get full information on where that third base is, which is amazing. Absolutely amazing for the Terran player. HBQ sending it straight across the map. Heading directly down to bottom left to get on this ramp. Start these two lurkers first, and then one lurker right on that pixel right there. All right, or a little bit further down the ramp. That's fine too. Valkyrie comes down, sees the lurkers are being made. He stims and runs for it. It's going to be able to do a lot of damage to this egg, but these lurkers will definitely finish on high ground. No question in my mind. +1 is done. Still not enough damage to burn through that egg's armor. It will, however, kill the lurker the moment that it pops out, so no third lurker for the high ground. But that's just fine. Sacsri is going to be happy that he managed to keep that base alive, and he's going to be setting up a lurker landmine somewhere out on this map. Where will it be? There. My goodness, it's a bit of a risky play, but we know that there's no science vessels out on the map, and if this catches a big wave of reinforcements, the win for Sacsri will be massive. Absolutely massive. Oh my god, what is this? What is this scan? Are you kidding me? He just scanned right there? The Zergers are gonna have to run for it. HBQ, he's a map hacker. I'm just kidding, guys. He's not a map hacker, but that was some ridiculous star sense. There was no way he saw that, right? There's no way he saw those lurkers moving in that direction, right? I'll have to go and look at that a little bit later on. See if he had any idea, or if he just scanned there out of the blue. It really looked like he set up everything perfectly to surround that. Lurkers up here on the high ground are going to take somewhat of a trade. He kills one tank, also importantly. 2 Valkyries here. And Consume is almost done. Consume very close. Can he actually get the kill? Go for the tanks. Kill the tank. Kill the tank. Ah, he gets the tank. But 3 mutas. Oh, the volley to finish everything off. And he keeps the Valkyries alive. Very nice job by HBQ. I don't think he'll break through, though. With only 1 tank, it just takes too long. It's going to take way too long. Lurkers will unburrow now. And the Dark Swarm is down. Tank's going to be dead. Nice surround there. And that ends up falling. Follow-up is going to be a mech transition from HBQ. You love to see it. Second armory, science facility. And of course, vehicle weapons, importantly, double expanding, triple expanding behind this, actually. My goodness. HBQ going absolutely ham. He does not want to let this game get away from himself. Like, he had a great spot after that 8 racks, but truly does not want to allow Sacsri to drag this into the late game where he excels, but it feels like there's no choice any longer. It's going that direction, and so he's gonna set himself up for what should be an excellent late game position. HBQ, while Sacsri is worried about setting up his 4th, triple expansion, massive mech switch. That's gonna be hard to contend with. Gotta add these gases on quickly. Could continue to make Valkyries. Could switch into battle cruisers. That's also a possibility. Might want to wait a little bit on that, though, as he cranks out some vessels. And see the vessel number. I don't expect it's too high yet. Where are all the vessels? I actually don't see any vessels. Did he even make a vessel? My eyes may be deceiving me. By the way, let's change the color. We're gonna have some plagues coming up here soon. Sorry, I forget about that quite a bit. I know that it annoys some people to see red Terran getting plagued, and so I try to remember, but it often slips my mind. Ready to start pushing forward once again. The Marine number is not that large. Oh my gosh. HBQ just lets his army wander into a bunch of lurkers. That was nasty. 9 kills on that one, 6 kills on that one. Another massacre there as all the medics go down. Tanks are coming out on the high ground. There's a vessel. Another command center. Are you kidding me? HBQ is wild. Number of lurkers out here in the front, and he's pushing forward, but tanks on high ground. There are already 4 tanks up here, plus a radiate. And so you're not going to make much progress if you want to actually try to get up here. You're going to need more muscle. Cranking out 3 tanks at a time. He's kind of screwing himself over here by having this Sim City. It's going to be difficult for tanks to actually get out of some of these positions. Lurkers are slowly but surely pushing out. You got to be careful. If vultures suddenly come in from an angle, suddenly run by and get into this base, you could be in a lot of trouble. What are we seeing now from Sacsri? Ventral Sacs on the way, Metasynaptic Node, and of course, Lyra Carapace. He's opening up all the options for late game, aside from Queens, I guess. So he could add back that Queen's Nest once again. And the air armor will actually help out with that play, if that's what he decides to go for. But it seems like he wants to go ultras with drop. Dropping ultras can be very strong, but it could also feed in heavily to the tank heavy style that HBQ is going for. And so he's getting this Fire Carapace not exactly for Queens, but more so for a potential Mutalisk switch in a little bit. If he senses that there's a deep what's it called? Okay, drop coming in. I cannot think of the word right now. If there's just a imbalance, a deep imbalance, excuse me. If there is a deep imbalance with the amount of anti-air and tanks that are being made, then there's a good possibility that we could see that switch back into Mutalisk a little bit later on. Great Plague there. Meanwhile, Lings come up and assault this base. He forces the lift, but it's still a 5 base Terran player. 5 base is completely fine to max out on mech units. Taking these other bases doesn't need to happen for quite a bit more time. He's happy to fight over it and make it as like a threat. If you don't come over here and attack me, HBQ is saying to Sacsri, if you don't come over here and push me off of these bases in top left, then I'm gonna get a ton of turrets over here. I'm gonna set up an insane defensive position, and I'm gonna take half the map, put you on a clock to where the Zerg is gonna end up running out of minerals and completely mining out way before I do, way before the Terran player does. Finally getting the speed upgrade for these ultras. 9 ultras on the way, guys. It's all gonna come down to this. How will Sacsri utilize these ultras, and will they end up getting eaten by mines and tanks? Or can he drop them in the appropriate places to get the real damage that he's looking for? 10 kill vulture, but that's all there is in this top left. Just one vulture is not going to cut it. Might be able to get in here and actually kill these vultures and also these turrets down here to open up more opportunities for drop. Going after the vessels, not going to be able to get any connections there. The Goliaths have +2. +3 is about to finish. By the way, +3 is nearly complete. There's the load up of ultras. A lot of ultras coming forward. Goliaths are going to try and make their way over here. Some radiates are going to come down on these overlords most likely, or maybe just on the ultras as they pop out. Here comes those ultras onto the high ground. Irradiates on everything. Everybody gets an irradiate now. Mines are going to be cleared up for the most part. Looks like almost none of them end up actually exploding. Wow, the one that it does explode kills a bunch of SCVs here. Meanwhile, pushing in towards the natural. This is a beautiful push. A beautiful play from Sacsri. Dropping a Darkstorm right in the natural. Throwing down some plagues as well. Keeping HBQ back in his natural while he cleans up some of these outlying bases. I love it. This is an excellent multi-pronged attack from him. He's not just hitting 2 locations with ultras, he's hitting 1 location with his defensive units, with all of his lurkers, setting up a position that can't be broken by tanks. Now it can be. He needs to go ahead and scan there. He does. And then utilizing the more mobile ultras to get out there on the map and start to clear out some of these bases. Just gonna run by the tanks. Okay, the tanks actually bait in the ultras, and most of those will end up dead. More ultras coming up from the south, though. This is huge. He's gonna get on top of a lot of these tanks. Ultras are cleaning up so much. 3K, 2K bank right now for HBQ. He's got so much money coming on, or at least he did have so much money coming in, but just couldn't match the production. Maybe if he had built a bunch of factories in top left, he could have made it work a little bit better. Oh my gosh. An amazing plague on so many of these tanks as they have to back up. Good job there sniping down those Defilers, though, and the ultras are just going ham. Killing so many SCVs. There's still 59. And so even just mining on these 2 bases, he's going to be okay for now. However, he cannot be losing any more tanks. Otherwise, he's going to get relegated to a tiny corner of the map. And he won't be able to push for such a long time that Sacsri is going to take way too many bases. Sacsri's got this base. He's got this base now as well. And so HBQ has to get moving. Looks like he's going to push down towards bottom right potentially while taking the top center. Retaking the top center, excuse me, and defending center left. All right, setting up in a more defensive position than I thought he was originally. Not taking top center, not pushing out, rather just setting up all these tanks now. But I think Sacsri's out of control. We have so many units popping out. He's up to 150 supply as a Zerg player, pure Ultra Ling. It's not easy to get that far, to get all these bases up and to start pumping at this level. He's spending his money very well. Needs to spread out some drones maybe a little bit. That's actually not looking too bad. This gas needs to get mining as well, but other than that, really solid macro so far from Sacsri. I think you could just see, yeah, he's even gonna take this hatchery right in the face of HBQ, directly under his command center, throwing it in the man's face that, yes, I now control this region. 8 kills on this ultra, 7 and 7. That's so many kills. And this small group of ultras. Most of those are going to be SCVs, I imagine. And now HBQ has decided to push. Let's see what he can do with this pretty massive supply of tanks. I would say about 18 tanks in this. Somewhere around there. Here comes some Dark Swarm. Lings are going to be pushing things back. The Goliaths are still there in the army. But as soon as the Goliaths disappear, as soon as all the Goliaths are gone, you're going to see a huge tech switch back into Mutas, I imagine. Not a lot of Goliaths left. I think with the next wave, we might end up seeing most of the Goliaths die. He's still producing 5 at a time, though. 23 Lings, 7 Ultras are about to come out here. Will he be able to break this? Oh, loses the Defiler, not able to get a Dark Swarm on these Lurkers. And so it's going to have a hard time buying time for that army to get out. In fact, he's going to go for a counterattack. We've seen this before. Last time it worked out quite well for Sacsri, just letting some bases go in order to shut down the few remaining mining bases of the Terran. But this time we're going doing the same thing against a tank line, which is much more difficult to get this counterattack to actually deal that damage. You can see HBQ's already cleaned it up. He's sending more reinforcements over here and bearing down on this base. Might be able to kill these tanks. It's getting kind of close. Gonna pull some more reinforcements. Try and save that location. Tanks coming up onto the high ground. He's gonna break this base here shortly. More reinforcements coming to center right. Gotta save that mining at the same time as pushing, or it's not going to matter. There's no buffer for these tanks here at the front, unfortunately, for HBQ. Ultras are going to get right in on top of a lot of this, and so many tanks went down, but so many more tanks are reinforcing. Counterattack from those veteran Ultras that we're dealing with top center. Going to get in here and kill some more SCVs. They've got lots of experience doing that. They've built up quite a resume at this point. Meanwhile, the attack pushing on. He may be able to snipe this extractor, which would be important. Very little gas being mined aside from this base down here. A lot of sunken colonies being made top left. Preparing to defend against some sort of vulture attack in that area. Continuing to throw units at the wall. And the Ultras actually can't get past here, so they're just gonna run back and forth until maybe they die. Drones being sent out. Oh, Scourge are finally gonna come forward. There are some Goliaths, though. There's just a few Goliaths left. I'm surprised we haven't seen the switch back into Mutas yet. 12 Mutas could clear all of this. Especially with the Goliaths going down. Lings are going to come out and try to clear this, though. Hasn't made these sunken colonies in top left. A little bit too much going on for Sacsri to handle at the moment. He's trying to take the best, most efficient trade he can against these tanks, but it's not easy. A little bit of an army moving up towards top left. Too bad he didn't make a Nidus over here. If he made a Nidus, looks like he will now. Yeah, see, kind of an afterthought, unfortunately, for Sacsri. If he made that Nidus originally, when he set down these sunken colonies, he would already have it connected. And therefore would be able to save this base, most likely. Some vultures made their way up here onto the high ground. That's kind of funny. Forgetting about those right now. HBQ also has a lot to worry about. Big Ling drop is going to go on this center left. Meanwhile, top center will be blocked again. Lings dropping out on top of the tanks, but they're not going to do very well. Both players trading blows and shutting down each other's economy, just like in the last game, but I'm not sure who's coming out ahead in this one. It really feels like HBQ's supply is getting kind of ridiculous. Whereas, yeah, the supply of Sacsri is looking dismal. Has hardly anything at only 91 supply. Are we actually going to see a Terran victory this time? It's getting quite close. I gotta say, though, still very impressive that Sacsri made it this far, considering how badly the initial early game went. Absolute macro beast, still hanging in there, and we can't count him out just yet. Can't make it onto the, or the, what am I saying? The Ultra can't make it onto these tanks. And the supply numbers are just so low at this point. He's trying to get another base online over here at the center left. He's not mining with 3 on gas at this base, unfortunately, so missing out on quite a bit of economy because of that. Great flag there. Gonna be able to get rid of most of these Goliaths without too much trouble. But this is the big threat. This is the big nasty. All of these tanks moving in are gonna be very scary. Great. Oh, I thought he was gonna get an amazing flag there. Good Dark Swarm. I expected a great flag, though, to follow that up. But honestly, an amazing snipe with these tanks. Gunning down that Defiler before it could get that critical spell to really annihilate this force. He needed that all-important plague on the big army so that the tanks will start to splash themselves down and the Lings can actually finish them off without the support of Ultras. But he had to bring the Ultralists forward, and they lose their lives. Everything ends up dead, and Sacsri is forced to tap out. A great back and forth between HBQ and Sacsri. Really enjoyed this series. I usually am going to cast on this channel just the highest top level pro players, but sometimes it's nice to have some of the B teamers go up against each other. Like watching HBQ versus Hero might not be as interesting as watching HBQ versus Sacsri, right? It's just a lot closer. It's hard to tell the difference between the players sometimes. Like, hard to tell the difference between Sacsri's play and Hero's play at times because they're both so good. The difference between their play is so small at that level. But you're talking about like the 80-20 rule, right? It takes 80% of your time, or it takes 20% of your time to reach that 80% of efficacy. And then it takes 80% of your time to get that last 20%. And so these players are right up there in that last 20%, maybe in even the 10%, that last top 10%, the last 10% of good gameplay, trying their best to perfect an imperfect game. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.